Alright, this is another stream and kind of show of background designer. Done a small update to it. Not much, but we'll check it out. Now, if you want to transfer your brushes from a previous pack to this pack, so first you have to run it, and it's going to ask for that custom folder where you keep your brushes. Just let AVG do its thing here. It usually tells me it's fine, but now AVG doesn't let me save anything, so we're stuck on this loading screen, so we need to tell it where the custom folder is, and so I keep them in here. You see I've already got a few, and let's say I do want it to carry these through, so I'm just going to say yeah, here is where I keep the custom folders, but when I come here it's not populated because this is a whole new version. So I'm just going to escape out of that, and if I type in %local app data %, and I'll locate the previous version, and I'll look for the brush sort list. I just want to copy this, right, because this has got all the brushes that I was messing around with. Okay, all in this organization file, if you like. So I'm going to copy that and go to this version, and as you can see, this one has got nothing. So I just want to paste it, and that should update, right? And now I can restart. So if I go to builds and I run this again, you can see we've got all these back. So that's the current way to get all your brushes back. This is only in alpha right now, so there's a lot of features that I need to fix and improve. One thing will be like update brushes from previous pack, so what I'll need to do is get it to look for that folder, which might be tricky actually, or I store the brush sort list within the customs brush folder. That wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, it's perfectly possible. So I'll look into doing that, and that way the brush sort list is there, and it can fetch the list from there. Just need to double check that that works the way I expect. Okay, so you can also clear all your custom files here. Just go to the next UI so you can see that better. So clear custom files is gonna clear all these out. They were all just work in progress test files anyway. So I'm gonna clear custom files. It's gonna restart as well. Are you sure this could affect the files depend on these brushes? So we'll say yes, and it flushes all them out and basically restarts. Cool, I want to show you a little technique that I was thinking about this morning, like how would one make a new shape. So what I'm going to do is just make this solid, right, and get rid of these tones so that I've just got a solid colour. Right, I'm just going to make this, it doesn't really matter right now, I'm just going to make it, in fact I'll make it white, right, makes sense to make it white. Make it white, and then what I can do is I can make another shape black, and if I want a custom shape, so I'm thinking that white is positive and black is going to be the shape that cuts out of this one. So if I wanted a kind of, I don't know, a star shape or something, I could put one there. Let's just make that big enough, like that. Put one there, one kind of there, and there, right? Oh, where did that not want to go? Right, there's a little bit of a bug where it doesn't want to put the brush down. I still need to figure that out. So that is what I've kind of made, right? And what I can do is I can use the grab to kind of grab that little star shape out. So I'll call this star 1, and it's made this, right? You're thinking, okay, well, it's got the black embedded into it, but all I have to do is just take the black tones away and then just control click like that green color, so the border all gets tinted the same, or everything gets tinted white, right? And that's pretty much me made a new brush, but I need to put it down first and then grab it again. I call it new star, and there we go. I'll get a brand new brush called new star. Let's bring all these tones back, and you can see I can draw with that. Now it's a little bit iffy because I need to replace all the tones. You can see if I go from left to right and I draw with this all the way to the left, it's still got the black pixels, but if I go all the way to the right, that'll be perfect. Right, so I want to grab this one again. I just want it to be pure, kind of the way I want it. Also, I'm gonna flip it around and kind of rotate it or something. Let's see, something like that. It's a little bit better. And grab that, and I can call this final star. Right, so I've got all these stars now. I don't need them all, so I just need to right click, delete brush forever, warning some background files may depend on these. Well, they don't, because I've only just started making them. And get rid of that one as well. So I've got this final star left, and yeah, I can go ahead and make even more shapes with that. Go ahead and grab that one, call this pattern, backspace to clear everything, scale it down. I'm going to mix this back to full white, rotate it a bit, and I can go ahead and make this kind of repeated pattern. So you're not really limited to any sort of shape, and there is no eraser brush just yet. I'm not too sure how I'm going to do that, but yeah, you can do stuff like this. What if you wanted it to be like a gradient effect on this? Well, okay, that's a bit more challenging. I'm just going to press I to turn the background off, and let's bring in the gradient bar. So you kind of want it so that, yeah, this is a bit different. If you wanted it so that you could tint a gradient into this, it's going to end up in the background pixels. That's the only thing. So there is certain limitations to that, like a clipping mask or something. That would really need a different technique programmatically. So yeah, I'm not too sure about that, but let me just try something anyway. This is totally kind of guesswork here, but let's go for a gradient bar. Take away these, so it's just red. Let's control click, and I'll make this big enough. So that everything gets tinted like that. I to turn that off. And yeah, if I was to grab this, it's going to grab those pixels as well. Like that. And I can press tab to do different things there. So those those pixels are actually part of it. Oh, I think I just did what I wanted. So I took away the red. I made the red tones transparent because remember this goes between solid and treating the pixels as transparent, but because there is supporting tones, I've kind of managed to do it, and you get this unique gradient. So now if I press tab, I can get all these different gradients into this. So there you go, it's not impossible. Move this all the way to the right and really see the effect of it. That one doesn't do anything. This one's got some tone in it. Let's bring that up. So make that kind of, let's really make it so we can customize it again. So if I make this blue, pure blue, as much as possible, and this pure red, this all the way to the right. I really want it to work, so let's actually take away the effect of that and do some nice like little highlight. So the red would be, that's quite a nice effect. So there we go, there's another pattern that I could grab, and because I've used the blue and red more intently, it should be a bit stronger. So I'll call this pattern 2, backspace to clear everything, and now I've got something that I can customize. I'll bring back all these tones, it doesn't matter because the way I've made this. So now it's the red and blue tones that do the job here. So that would be white, that would be black. Still gets mixed in with the base, and I guess this tone. Oops. And let's make that darker as well. Flip that around, rotate it. Let's do some. You can see some. I can see some sort of tone in the background there, a little bit. It's hard to get rid of everything. I think that's a bit better. I can still see something. Let's make some cool patterns like that. So you just rotate and clicking every now and again to make these nice radio effects. Tab to get different colors, space to get different gradients in the sky. So 1, 2, 3 for random. Full opacity there. I really want the original tones back, so I'll just slide it over there, and let's just get the scale back to, so rotation 190. You can always click off and on another brush, that will reset some things, and let's scale that up to 1. Let's click a few times. Let's make the red tones more red. Let me figure this out so that make that really blue. Make that really red. And more or less the same. Oh, that's quite nice. So there's a nicer looking brush. Now it still has those pixels in the background. That is the only thing that I'd say is not quite good with it. No matter how far left I go with this clear mode, those black tones are still in there, so it's really hard to shift them. But what you can do is basically jump into Photoshop and do a bit of work to it. So I'm just going to grab it again and call it a star pattern. Right, and I'll just right click to delete each of these. Right, I'm back to our star pattern there. Oh, I don't want to load anything. Right, so that's already selected. And I can quit out of Background Designer completely, pressing escape twice. I'm just going to open Photoshop so that I can just fix that up a bit. Background Designer is limited in what it can do with images, but in the future I'll look at, you know, editing things inside, making little sub-editors or generators for like trees and loads of cool stuff that it could do if I put a bit more work into it. Let's just check the stream if anyone's got any questions or anything. Magic mushrooms, Twitch details. I'll show you how to fix that slightly transparent issue that crops up. I don't know if it's my settings or something, but pretty sure it's just because there's pixels there I just can't get rid of. Yeah, let's do this. This is always a pain in the ass. Every time I need to log in. Hopefully it's not asking for a 2-pass code as well. So I'm basically showing you my competitor here. I mean, you could make backgrounds in Photoshop if you were an artist, but the point of the background tool is that if you're not an artist, you can throw something together that works without having to, you know, borrow work or search. It's designed to make your life a bit easier for making a nice background, and all the stuff that's in there you can use. All the brushes that I make will be unique or based on commercial licenses of brush packs that I've used to make these brushes. So it's all good. It's waiting in Photoshop, acting normal. Let's see, so, oh god, it's super laggy. And now it's better. Okay. Been having a few performance issues, like this C drive constantly going full and sometimes going back to normal, and I'm blaming Photoshop for this. Some Adobe stuff in the background. I'm getting these blue wheel of death and it's been a piece of crap to use. So custom brushes, going to load in my brush here, and if I go to, hold on, I just need to wait on Photoshop acting normal. If I go to layer, layer mask from transparency, and I have a look in here by alt clicking. I don't care, brush box can go to hell. Okay, so some of these tones, this tone here, if I was to pick it and press this, I can see that it's got values of 6 in there. So I'm not sure if it's some setting at my end, but it doesn't quite go as transparent as it could. Maybe I can push it a bit more. Right, but all I want to do is just do Control L to pull the dark up a slight bit. And now when I pick and go here, we got zeros. And then I'm going to apply layer mask, and that's me got that. And then I'll do some levels to get the colours as good as I can get them as well. Somewhere there. So it's quite a nice pattern that I've managed to make. I can also trim that a bit. Trim transparent pixels, and then just save it. All I have to do is save it, and when I go back into Background Designer, it's going to search the brush list and load it back up. At least it should have. Interesting. don't know why it didn't, because it is there. I guess what happened was the brush list never updated. I'm going to look at that. So local data percent pattern. So that's the name of it. And I think maybe what's happened is the names changed. If I go into the folder, yeah, I called it star pattern. So there's a bit of confusion there. I call it that, and I load background designer back up. That might fix it, or not. Builds, because I might have overwrote the file. Yeah, I'll just load it back in. So custom brush, just call it the same thing, and that will update the brush list. I think I will look at saving the brush list in the same folder. It's no harm in that. So now we can do some nice funky stuff. Oh, I quite like that one. That's nice. I'm still seeing the transparent pixels though. Funnily enough. I think this, I don't know if it's this clear mode or, yeah, but I can still kind of see it there. So maybe I've just not gone as far as I could with that. I'm just going to check that. Check that custom brush folder. Okay, the pattern is there. Let's go into Photoshop and open it up. Let's have another look at that. So image, layer from transparency, and I'm going to pick the color. It is 0. It's just a bit weird why it's not fully transparent. I'm thinking it might be my shaders that are broke, but let's just pull that up even more just to really check. And then if I apply that layer mask, I'll also try control click to really force that and apply that as well. Save it and come back out, and let's load them back up. Okay, I think it's fixed it now. Oh, that's quite nice. Like those tones. Let's just really check these. So yeah, I managed to get it working a bit better, but I really had to push that clear tones. So I'm wondering if I was to muck about with the shader, I could maybe get it to go a bit further. I've got these shaders in here, RGB mask one, that basically makes it more opaque based on this mix. So this soft hard amount is the value. And I just want to make sure this value is going all the way to 0, so I'll just do a search for that, and I do actually set it up here to this value, so I can check that. That is based on another thing, the soft hard value. Soft hard 1, soft hard A, soft hard. And that's based on this, so soft hard. Sorry, it sounds like a rude thing, but it's not. Trust me, it's not. Equals 0. What we'll do is I'll show this up in the debug. That's under my draw UI object. UI gizmos. And I'll just draw that. Yeah, let's do 978. Okay, it says it's at 0. Yeah. If it says it's at 0, it's at 0, so it does go all the way. It does do what it's supposed to. It's just one of these things that crop up. So yeah, the question was, could I make a custom shape brush from the existing brushes? Yeah, you can totally do that. So like if I take a square brush and I'll just solidify it by making all these transparent and bringing this up to solid, and that way it's just this color, right? I'll work in red just so that I know that I've got one of the primary key colors, right? And then I'll just plot that down. And then I'll change to black, completely black. I think that's what it is. I need to make sure that I'm on a jet black tone here. So I'll really make sure these are black, right? And then rotate. And just think of me as cutting out some shapes from this big one. So let's do that. Really make a kind of custom shape. Making a custom brush. Let's get some texture. So I'll bring that into the edges. Maybe some other shapes. We've got some rock we could totally use. Get rid of these harsh edges. Right, and then I'm just going to grab that. So use the grab tool, grab over there, call this step 1, and get rid of these steps, backspace everything, and now take all the black tones out, and let's choose red and just control click so that everything gets that red tone. So we're in this clear mode, and make sure I go full all the way to the right so that those tones are there. I'm not seeing any issues with the opacity, so that's good. Right, and then I've plotted that brush down. Everything should be good there, so that's pure red. And I could grab that again just to make sure that that is going to work. Let's call it step 2. I think that's pretty decent. Go all the way to the right again. It should be exactly the same, so that's step 1 brush and step 2. They're more or less the same. This one's maybe a little bit stronger, but now I can use this as a kind of custom brush. And if I basically, I'm using my tablet pen here just for ease of control, but there's no pressure sensitivity or anything like that. So let's just choose pure red again. Let's make that all the way up, all the way down with these. Control click there. Yeah, so that everything really gets that tone, and I can make these kind of brush strokes. And then flip it around and do some extra little marks. Flip them, rotate them. It's not really designed for painting, but if I want a custom shape or brush, then I can use this. A bit of opacity even, and help sort of build it up a bit. So 2, and just fluff up the edges. I'll be sure to add things that are randomizing all this as well. I can jump back to one of the brushes that works here as well. If I paint in pure red, then it will just mean it's just that red color that I need to customize. Just add in a bit more kind of fluff and break it up a bit. Right, and now I can grab that and call this like a stroke. Clear everything. Clearing everything is a good idea because it frees up the memory and you get the frame rate back. And now you can sort of start using this as a kind of brush. If I want to make a custom tree, I can go ahead and start working with the tones here. So I'll make it solid, and yeah, it should just, if I move that to the right, it should just use the tones that it sees here. Right, and I want it to kind of randomize these tones, so I can hover over here locally and always go to local 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So if I come over here, you can see the sample square. Let's make it a little bit bigger, right, and let's make something looks nice. 1 2 3 1 2 3. So I'm just picking out random colors. Later I'll have features that does this automatically, like some kind of hue jiggle, whatever, you know, all the kind of jitter effects that you need. Let's do a little bit yellow. That's too much. So I'm going to hover over the general area and get a random color, or I can just like pick a color. It's probably just as easy. Yeah, just make sure I'm on the tone that this is, which is the red tones. That's the one that actually changes that. You could make it black and then it would just be the black tone that changes as well, so that's perfectly fine. But once this is built up into a shape that I can use, then grab that as a brush. I call it foliage stack or something. Let's call it folly stack, just to make the words short. Backspace, and then I can tab through. Let's bring this up to full mix. And I've got this brand new let's really customize it. Let's go for reds. And I can make even bigger brush sets and start to think about the actual background design. So I can add a gradient, add some tree. I've got some tree stems and stuff. So that one, and jump over to the fully stack and change the look of the tops. We've got a pretty unique looking tree. So I can then grab that and do even more. But first I'll kind of dial these tones up a bit. I want it just to be a little kick brighter. And then press like 2 and I can add some little highlights. 5, a bit more highlight up here. And also take away some of the tones. If there's any more kind of significant tones in there, like that one. This one's nice. That way it's just kind of that brush that I'm using, that mask. And now I can grab that. Oops. I'll just go out here if you want to undo it. Grab it again. If you don't like it, just go all the way out and it will be like a cancel. Call this custom tree 1. And then F2 to reset everything there. Tab, we'll go through your colors. Make sure you, if you want the full mix, just change this up to new. And this has got some trees we can then play with these, so flip it horizontally, change colors. It's quite nice seeing the 2 tones. Go back to our Foley stack and we can use that even more to make some changes, just so that we're quite like that. We're able to pick locally as well, because you see that square flashing up. That just helps us get that right tone. A little bit of opacity there. There's a lot of things you can't really do in Photoshop so quickly, and it's a different mindset completely. So now we get a different tree. I want to make a different trunk, which there should be some trunks here. There's one here. And I could really kind of bring that in like that. Maybe put it the layer below just so that that comes through somewhere. Do that, and then let's get step 2 and pick some of these tones, go back in front, and a little bit of opacity just to blend this in. And then if I press I, you can see that's a whole new tree, and then I can grab that as a tree. Now, cust tree 2. I don't want to capture I to bring back the background and clear all that. Let's press space for a different kind of sky. Just go through them. That's quite nice. And then tab to change colors. Make sure you get this as much effect as you want. Let the colors do the rest of the work. If you feel there's not enough range with it, again, it's just a case of going back into Photoshop, open up the tree. So we've got this custom tree, and you can do a levels adjust on it to really tighten up those tones like that, right? And also you can do a few other things like copy that and do a gradient over it. So let's say something like black to, yeah, let's say just a black to white, and maybe I can switch this to multiply. No, not that, multiply. let's get rid of that, right. Just work on that layer, lock the layer and multiply on this. That means it's going to darken the bottom and lighten the top. Just need to be on the normal gradient. Right, so we're going to get a kind of gradient effect there. I do want to be on multiply up here as well, so multiply like that, and there we go. That's us getting something quite nice that we can customize these tones. Let's just press 7 for a bit of opacity. Yeah, we can customize these tones. I'm just going to press trim and save that back out. Right, and because it's not reloaded it, I could always go like right click it and remove it, and then add it back in under the custom brushes. You see it's removed it completely, so I'll actually go back in here and save it. It removes the file as well, so you have to be mindful of that. But I'll just go back in and oh, that's weird. Save that. Custom brushes. It's not letting us do it, so I'll just go to desktop and put it there. And now I'll bring it in, custom tree 2 from desktop. I'll call it cust tree 2. So it's recognizing it as a brush that exists already. So please rename this brush. I'll call it stylized tree. And there we go. So now it's got much more range with it in terms of color. I can really change those black tones to something else, and these as well. There's a few good bits of tone that you can change here. And that's starting to look like something you can maybe use in a game towards your background. A few things I would change with this as well. I mean, I could always just start photoshopping bits out, but I can come in here, use the circle and go back to solid mode, turn all these off, make sure this is absolute solid black. So make sure they're all the way down, and cut some bits out. Like that. And then the only thing to be mindful is if I grab this brush, any other dark tones are going to be affected. So if I try bring out the black tones like that, you can see they're still kind of there actually. Yeah, go full way. You can see it's not easy to get rid of them completely, but I guess I could put that down. I'm going to press F5 so they'll get their red, green, blue tones back. Let's make sure I'm on this mode. Click that down and grab it again. Let's call this 2 and see if, yeah, you can see now it's got rid of those gradually, but it's also made the pixels transparent. But what I can do is I can click a few times. I do need to have a switch for this. There's a certain mode in here that doesn't let you click in the same place, and I'm going to switch that off. I'm going to have it so you can switch that off. Maybe I could go to a layer above and kind of hack it a bit. Maybe I could hack this a bit. Yeah, I know how to. All you have to do is just right click and move it about a bit. That'll confuse it. Just right click and move it about. And then middle mouse, and then grab that. Got changed. It's a long way to erase some bits because it's not designed for it. but it'll definitely get you there. I don't know why that only just made that look... because these are still down, yeah. But now it's something that you can also like mess around with these tones again. Not as strong as the last one, but we can always just go back to the foliage stack and start bringing in some nicer looking bits. So you can kind of use it to build up and make unique looking assets. It's really to get you into the mindset of painting and thinking about, you know, how do artists do it if they want to paint something. Is that rotating? Oh, that was the stroke I made, wasn't it? I'm making little changes here, flip it across. There's a few preferences I need to add. There's a lot of things could go into this. It's going to turn into the ZBrush of 2D pixel art. Let's put some here as well. Change up the tones a bit more, so that's this one. Always pick that actually. So the question is, do I find this easier than using Photoshop? I find it probably the same. At this point I find it the same. For everything I need is in here that I want to work with, and there's a few nice other bits and bobs I like, but I would say that. There's a lot of things that I could add to this to make it better, of course. Let's add some little bits of grass. I can make those like green, just to be sure that we actually change the grass. Maybe a bit of blue just to help that as well. So that'd be like a shadow. Bit in front. Done. There's our little tree design. All done from stock brushes. And if I grab this now, call this funky tree. And pressing tab will basically give you variations of that. You can bring this mix tone all the way up. So that's the original tones there. I'm just going to clear everything. So that's the original tones there. Let's go all the way to the new tones and start changing some things. Oh, so this is the ground, as you can see, and this is going to be a little bit of the trunk and stuff, and so is this one. So the green tones aren't really, yeah, the green tones are just the grass down there, but they're also in the, so the red tones become green actually. So let's change those. Let's have a bluish tree. And You know, this is the colour of the grass, and red grass, but they all kind of mix. But I like this kind of effect where it's just the shape of it, and you just want to make a background, so you press W and you can start knocking down a kind of silhouette of shapes and trees and things. You start to make some small, make sure you flip and rotate, and there's also some other trees in here. This one I like. You see it's just adopted the same kind of colour palette. I'm just going to go one layer behind and yeah, even pick that out and make extra changes. Nice silhouettes. And then space to change the sky. You can see kind of what I've done there. So it's really designed for making a tileable background. You know, bringing in your little shapes there, bring in your land. However you want to do it. If you want to just like click these down, there's also this one. It's kind of like a land mass. Use some of the shapes, like this one. Make a nice ground. If you don't like the colours that are there, just press F3 and then start changing the colours up. But it's a good idea to really change those colours as you work. It's a bit lazy to not do that. That's quite nice. Some nice vivid greens, but if I change these while I work, then I won't go far wrong. I can also change all the colours there. I just press F3 to come out of that, and if I want to affect things, I press F4, but it only affects the last thing, so I'll go all the way to the start, and then go one forward. And I can start to affect all those things by pressing F4 as I redo to make them adopt the current colours. So I can go all the way back again, and those trees, let's say I want to change those up, so I'll press F3, go through some tones. I like those colours, so I'll press F4, redo, F4, redo, F4, redo, F4, and then everything else I'll just keep the same. So I've changed the colours of those trees without worrying about them too much. It's cool, right? And then bring in some extra foreground here. Let's just start to go a little bit faded with it. And change these. Let's flip that vertically. And then go for some grass texture. Different foliage and things as well. You can bring in. There you go, we got a tileable background, nice gradient sky, and you just want to start adding clouds. There's a few stock ones here that are good. You just start bringing those in, and we can put a nice sunlight in there like that. Maybe click a couple of times, or go for a different cloud. A little bit of opacity and start to kind of bring that in. Spacebar will go through different skies, and that looks pretty. So that's you. So we just save that, Control S, and we'll call this scroll oval sky. Scrollable background. That's going to save that out. and we could even save it as 2 times HD as well if we want it to be bigger. So there's there at 1920 by 1080, and you know, make a bigger one or whatever. But that's pretty much it. I hope you like using this. It's on itch. If you want to go up to info, in fact you would need to get it first before you've seen that, but I'll do this. So go up to info, it copies it to the clipboard. You don't see what it says there, but it copies it to the clipboard. I'm going to save this file. One issue with the file is like it's dependent on a lot of these brushes now, and if I get rid of them, yeah, I might lose them completely. Ooh, could add a little pattern in here. Look at that. I forgot about like I did this. But that's pretty nice. I quite like that pattern, so I get rid of that. Start to clean up, you know, the brushes. The stroke I like, I'll keep that. Yeah, custom tree. Get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. Back in here. Yeah, a couple of decent trees there we could keep. So yeah, I could always like later refine all the brushes and make my own little packs up. Oh, I like that tree in there. Keep those colours just in case, so you just left click up there. I just want to do tab, see if I can get better. Oh, that's nice as well. See if we get better colours from this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's really hard to get the colours that you want just by pressing tab, so I recommend really kind of making the colours you want. Really do that. And that's pretty. These trees here look massive, but it's fine. Yeah, let's put that in. And there you go. There's your nice sky. And you can always go back to this and start bringing in a few little chunks just to help break it up. All those little clumps that I made, useful. Quite like that light green. Yeah, something like that. And make a nice sky and a nice background, and it all scrolls nicely. And let's say I wanted to make a reflection. Well, I could always bring in one of the ones that I just worked on. So I'll go here and load in. Sorry, the one that I just did. I'll call this like image temp, right? Because I'm gonna like play about with it. Make sure that everything is 0, and we're going to use the original colors, and make sure your scale is to 1. I don't know why it's looking like this. I seen this issue the other day as well, where it wasn't tiling it's not tiling something right, that sky. I'm not too sure why, but I definitely see it's a bug now. So I'm going to flip that vertically and go to like a layer. I can actually just do alt click just to get what I see here, right? And I want to use the circle or something just to get rid of some of this. So I'll do some black tones, get rid of these, solidify. Make sure I'm using new colors and start to get rid of bits just by painting them out like that. Maybe use a bit of texture. Right, you can kind of see where this is going. And I'm going to grab that as reflection. Right, and then I'll undo all that stuff. Just undo all that. Let's bring back all the layers as well by control clicking. And then now I can take away all the black tones, bring back all that to the old tones here, make sure that's brighter. Quite got this figured out yet, but yeah, I could kind of put like a puddle, and is what I'm trying to do, is make a puddle. Some of these tones just no, it's baked in a lot of the black tones, so I have to be really careful with that. So yeah, I could always put that down somewhere, and then work out what I'm trying to do. I really do need some sort of eraser. Yeah, that could be something I can work on later, but you can kind of do that. There is a bug with it right now. I just noticed when you save the image, it's not the same as, like, I don't know if I capture it, is it the same issue? Let's try that again. Let's use, oh, it kind of just drew everything again. Just press enter. What's it drawing everything? Yeah, it's done something really weird. Okay, I know what to look into, but thanks for watching this stream, and I hope you enjoy using it as much as you can use it, and I'll see you in the next stream. Have a happy Valentine's Day and all that. Bye for now.